Hello friends, welcome you all to this video on non-constitutional bodies. In today's lecture, we are going to see about the next non-constitutional body, which is nothing but the Lokpal and Lokayukta. So in this video, what is the content of this video is, first we will see about the establishment, how this Lokpal and Lokayukta has been formed. From the establishment, next about the jurisdiction, which is very important, what and all is included. Jurisdiction, and next about the composition. In composition, we will study about the tenure and who is appointed. That and all we will cover in the composition, and about the selection, how the Lokpal and Lokayukta chairman and members are selected. That process will be going through. And next about the functions, what is the function of Lokpal and Lokayukta. Next about exclusively about the Lokayukta, about the same appointment, qualification, tenure and the jurisdiction of Lokayukta. So this is the content of this video. So let's begin. So first of all, what is this Lokpal and Lokayukta? Okay, for people who know this, it is better, but most of the people could have heard this name of Lokpal and Lokayukta after the Anna Hazare movement of anti-corruption. After that only this Lokpal came into so much trendy. Okay, so we all have a basic idea that this Lokpal and Lokayukta is for anti-corruption. Okay, this is just a body, just a commission set up for anti-corruption. So where this idea come from? Whether this Lokpal and Lokayukta is a fresh idea? No. This formation of Lokpal and Lokayukta has been already there in other countries. It is there in India also. It was there, but now it has been freshly formed. That is known as the ombudsman. We all have something called ombudsman. So what is this ombudsman? Ombudsman is nothing but a body which is there in every. If you take a bank, private bank or nationalized bank, they'll be having an internal ombudsman. If you take a government organization or private body, they'll be having internal ombudsman. What is the meaning of that ombudsman? Let us say take a public department. Okay, so if there is any corruption happening in the public department, they are not doing their duties to make a vigilant. Okay, so this ombudsman will be a vigilant of this public department, and if there is any grievances, then the citizen can approach this ombudsman. So that is the main idea of the ombudsman, and that core idea has been taken out, and that is the seed for the formation of this Lokpal and Lokayukta. Okay. So now we will start with the establishment. So now we all have a simple idea that this Lokpal and Lokayukta is nothing but an anti-corruption commission. Okay, if there is any corruption happening, then this body will voice out. A citizen can approach this Lokpal and Lokayukta. Okay, mainly in the government departments, because you all know the corruption is very prevalent in the government departments, because there is no internal mechanism to construct that, to filter that. So that the government has taken a process for that. That is known as the Lokpal and Lokayukta. So first about the establishment, from where this Lokayukta started. First it started from the Administrative Reforms Commission. Actually it is the first ARC, 1966, headed by Morarji Desai. Okay, so that commission came up with the idea of this Lokpal and Lokayukta. In its recommendation, it clearly mentioned that Lokpal and Lokayukta should be formed in the Indian government. So what the ARC gave so much recommendations. Okay, it gave plenty of recommendations, like formation of Lokpal and how the formation should be, and the Lokpal should be appointed by the president on consultation with the prime minister, your Lok Sabha speaker and Rajya Sabha chairman, and also it clearly told that judiciary should be kept outside the purview of the Lokpal. Like these many recommendations were given by the ARC, but government didn't take the full recommendations of ARC. It altered something, it amended something, and finally it came out with a Lokpal bill 2013. Okay, so after this, majorly you can say in 2002. So next in 2002, the second ARC committee on the chairmanship of Veerappa Moily, that committee also recommended that this Lokpal should be formed immediately without any delay. Okay, from 1960 onwards, this Lokpal bill has been introduced in parliament so much times, and 8 times it got rejected. Okay, due to many reasons it got rejected. I think we don't want to indulge into that reasons why it got rejected and all, but plainly understand one thing, from 1960 onwards the government is trying to implement this Lokpal. Every time it goes to the parliament, it gets rejected for some other reasons, due to elections or due to the disagreement of the bill, it got rejected. But finally in 2013 we successfully, the parliament enacted the Lokpal bill. Okay, so that is how this Lokpal bill has been formed, and a commission called Lokpal has been formed because of this bill. So that is why we are studying today. So that is the history of this Lokpal. Started from 1966. It got the recommendation from ARC, and from that time, every time government is trying to pass the bill, but 8 times it got rejected, and finally in 2013 Lokpal bill has been formed. So now we have an idea how this has been formed, and we have a small idea that Lokpal is for anti-corruption in the public department, mainly for the government departments. So that is fine. So that is about the establishment. So now we have talked about the establishment. Because of this Lokpal Bill 2013, this Lokpal has been formed, Lokpal and Lokayukta. So what is the difference between Lokpal and Lokayukta? Mainly this Lokpal is for the central government departments, and Lokayukta is for the state government departments. That is the exact difference between Lokpal and Lokayukta. So you can, Lokpal is for center. So the Lokpal chairman and members are appointed by the president. On the other hand, Lokayukta is for the state governments. So the chairman and members are appointed by the governor. So that is a basic difference between Lokpal and Lokayukta. Because of this Lokpal Bill 2013, it gave birth to the formation of two bodies, Lokpal and Lokayukta. So that is very clear about the establishment. Now about the jurisdiction. Okay, what and all is coming under the jurisdiction of this Lokpal? Because I told in ARC 1966, when the first committee under Morarji Desai, they gave the recommendations that they told that judiciary should be kept outside the purview of Lokpal, and they also said that Prime Minister should not be included in this. The Prime Minister also should be kept outside the purview of Lokpal and all. That was just a recommendation, but government didn't take that. Now what is there in the Lokpal Bill 2013? What is the exact jurisdiction of the Lokpal? First one, Prime Minister is included. That is first point. Now we are talking about the jurisdiction. Prime Minister is included, MPs are included, ministers are included, and group A, B, C, D officers. So this is the exact jurisdiction of Lokpal. Prime Minister is included. In the ARC recommendation, it told that Prime Minister should be kept outside, but in the Lokpal Bill, Prime Minister has been included. But there is a exclusion. There is some exclusions in this Prime Minister. Prime Minister cannot be in terms of internal security, internal affairs, and international relations and security and all. You can't claim Prime Minister under this Lokpal. Okay, that is the exclusion. What are the exclusions? Exclusions like international relations, internal affairs, and security. In these grounds, you can't question the Prime Minister. So that is one thing, and MPs are also included. All the MPs and all the ministers are also included, and group A, B, C, D of the central government. Okay, we have group A, B, C, D post of central government. So those officers are also coming under the ambit of this Lokpal. Okay, so plainly, if all these persons, okay, if concerned ministries and if the group A, B, C, D, those post officers and Prime Minister and all the MPs, if they are undergoing any corruption, if they are taking any corruption, or if they are being bribed, or if they are not doing their duties properly, then the citizen can. It is just a Lokpal, nothing but a citizen redressal grievances. Okay, citizen can just go and complain to the Lokpal. That is a simple process of Lokpal, and that is jurisdiction. So with regard to group A, B, C, and D, we have something called CVC, Chief Vigilance Commission. Okay, we have dealt about the CVC in detail in the previous video. Now what happens is, CVC will recommend, okay, CVC will refer some, Lokpal will refer some cases to CVC, okay. With respect to A and B, officers in group A and B, when it is being referred to CVC, CVC will take the preliminary inquiry, okay, just the inquiry will be done, and again it will be reverted back to the Lokpal for further decision. On the other hand, with respect to group C and D, if some cases are referred to CVC, then they have the, they have the powers to inquire and also to decide. Finally, they will report. They'll just report to Lokpal. Okay, so that is the one difference I wanted to mention here. So in CVC, in the earlier CVC video also I have mentioned this, but again I am stressing out here. When Lokpal is referring some cases to CVC with respect to group A and B, then CVC can only make preliminary inquiry. They cannot further decide. That decision power is with the Lokpal. But with respect to group C and D, if Lokpal is referring some cases to CVC, then CVC can make the preliminary inquiry and they can also decide further they can do, but report has to be given to the Lokpal. That is the only difference. So that is about the jurisdiction of Lokpal. Next we will study about the composition. So now about the composition of Lokpal. It consists of a chairperson and 8 members. So these chairpersons and 8 members are appointed by the president. So there is one condition which is nothing but 50%. This chairperson 1 plus 8. Among these 9, 50% should be from the judiciary. So there is another one condition that 50% of the members, including chairperson, should be from the SC or ST community. Okay. So these two conditions are mandatory. So that is about the composition. So plainly, 1 chairperson, 8 members appointed by the president, and 50% of the members of this commission should be from the judiciary, and also 50% of the members should be from the SC and ST community. So that is one. Also woman is there. SC, ST, woman. Okay, so that is one thing. And about the tenure, 5 years or 70 years. Tenure is 5 years or until they attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. So that is about the tenure, appointment, and about the composition. So now we will study about the selection. How this chairperson and members are being selected. Is there any committee for that? That we will study now. So now about the selection. We all know that the chairperson and members are appointed by the president. How they are selected? We have something called a selection committee. So who are included in the selection committee? Prime Minister, Lok Sabha Speaker, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, and Chief Justice of India, or any one judge of Supreme Court, and one eminent jurist. This eminent jurist is nominated by the president, okay, on the recommendation of the first 4 members of the selection committee. Okay, so totally in the selection committee, 5 people are there. One is the Prime Minister of India, and next is the Lok Sabha Speaker, and third is the Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, and fourth is Chief Justice of India or any other one judge of Supreme Court, and final is the any eminent jurist which is nominated by the president on the recommendation of the first 4 members of the selection committee. So this is about the selection committee. So on the basis of this recommendation, okay, so this committee will recommend the name to the president, and he will appoint the chairperson and the 8 members of Lokpal. So we also have something called the search committee. So this search committee will also assist the selection committee, and here also we have one condition that 50% of the search committee should be from SC, ST, women, and minority. That is the one condition given for the search committee. So that is about the selection and search committee, and that is how the Lokpal chairperson and members are being selected, appointed by the president. So next we will study about the functions of Lokpal. So now we will study about the functions of Lokpal. So before going to the functions of Lokpal, I like to revise one point here. We have talked about the composition of Lokpal, 1 chairperson and 8 other members. So out of these 8 members, 50% of the members should be from judiciary, and the rest 50 and also another condition, 50% should be from the SC/ST community. So that condition we know. So what about the chairperson? What is the qualification, or what is the eligibility of the chairperson of Lokpal? That we have not touched upon. So that thing I'll just say once. Chairperson. So the eligibility of the chairperson of Lokpal is he should be an former Chief Justice of India or former judge of Supreme Court or a eminent person. So eminent person means he should have 25 years of working experience in any public department related to anti-corruption or vigilance. Okay. So this is the eligibility for a chairperson of Lokpal. He should either be a ex-CGI, Chief Justice of India, or ex-judge of Supreme Court, or an eminent person who is having a 25 years experience in a public department related to corruption, anti-corruption and vigilance. So that is the eligibility for a chairperson. So for members we know 50% from judiciary, that is the only condition. For chairperson this is the eligibility. Okay. So we all know the tenure 5 years or 70 years until they attain the age, whichever is earlier. So tenure, appointment also we know by the president, and this is about the composition. So with that we'll go into the functions. So first function is about we all know the common function. Okay, if there is any corruption happening, this Lokpal is solely responsible for resolving that issue. Case will be filed and this Lokpal will take care of that. That basic function we understood. So we will study about the extra functions. Okay, so first is the superintendents. Okay, superintendents means they have the whole authority of administration. So this Lokpal has the superintendents over all the investigation agencies in India. They have the superintendents, including the CBI. Okay, Lokpal have the superintendents over CBI. Not only CBI, all other investigation agencies in India, they have the superintendents, Lokpal. So that is one thing. And next, attach and confiscate. Okay, a public servant is there. If a public servant is doing corruption and that has been filed to Lokpal, and Lokpal has been done the preliminary inquiry, they have investigated and they have given the judgment. Okay, so what is the power? Okay, another one important thing, while this Lokpal is doing this investigation and they are delivering judgment, they have all the powers of a civil court. That is also one point to mention here. So this Lokpal is also having the power to attach and confiscate the properties of public servant, which they have brought illegally by corruption. Okay, a public servant, he is getting a corruption of a building or a land. Okay, this Lokpal will inquire into that. If they have found, if they hold that thing as true, then Lokpal has all the power to attach and confiscate the property of the public servant. That is one thing, and they also have all the powers to prosecute the public servant. Okay, they also have the power to prosecute. So attach, confiscate and prosecute, these powers are given to the Lokpal, and also while inquiring, Lokpal has all the powers of a civil court. That also one thing to be noted here. And next, about the donations. We have studied about one act called FCRA, Foreign Currency Regulation Act, Foreign Contribution Regulations Act. In economy you could have studied. Okay, so as per this act, donations can be done in India. Okay, but above 10 lakh, if there is any donations coming into India or going out of India above 10 lakh, then that comes under the jurisdiction of Lokpal. So that is about the donations. Next, about the exclusions. So we all know what is the jurisdiction of Lokpal. Prime Minister will come under the jurisdiction, but there is an exclusion for Prime Minister. What is the exclusion? Matters relating to internal relations, internal affairs and security will not come under the purview or the ambit of Lokpal, and MP also will come under the ambit of Lokpal, ministers will come under that, and group A, B, C and D officers of central government will come under the purview of these Lokpal. That we all know. But there is also another one exclusion for this Lokpal. What is that? Is a body or an organization which is fully funded by central government or partially funded by central government, that will exclusively come under the ambit of this Lokpal. But government aided institutions, government aided organizations, government aided departments, that will not come under the jurisdiction of this Lokpal. That is one point to be made out here clear about the exclusion. Next, about the timelines. Okay, in this Lokpal Bill 2013, they have given some timelines. So that timelines we'll discuss now. One is inquiry. For inquiry, it is 3 months. After this 3 months, they can again extend for another 3 months. That is the timeline for inquiry. Next, for investigation, we have 6 months. Extend again for 6 months. That is about the investigation. And for trial, trial is 1 year. Extend again to 1 year. Okay, so that is the timeline. For inquiry, for basic preliminary inquiry, 3 months. Again extendable again for another 3 months. For investigation, the timeline is 6 months, extendable again to 6 months. And for trial, it is 1 year, again extendable again for 1 year. So this is about the timelines. And next, finally, about the setting up of Lokayukta, which we are going to study next, about the Lokayukta. Okay, so we all know the difference. Lokpal is for central government, and this Lokayukta is for the officers and departments under the state government. Okay, so this Lokpal Bill 2013 clearly give a time frame, or it clearly gives the establishment of Lokayukta, because in this bill, one important provision is that from the formation of this Lokpal Bill, 365 days, 1 year. Okay, so within this 1 year, the state government should establish the Lokayukta. Okay, so within 1 year from the date of enactment of this Lokpal Bill, state government should establish the body called Lokayukta, which is nothing but a vigilant body for the state government, for all the departments, ministries and all the group officers of the state government. So that is about the Lokayukta. And finally, this is about the functions of Lokpal. So now we are going to study about the Lokayukta. Before going to Lokayukta, there is also another important function of Lokpal, which is nothing but the annual report. Okay, like the same thing we have studied about all the non-constitutional bodies, this Lokpal is also a non-constitutional body. They will also submit an annual report to the central government, to the president, and he will in turn submit to the both houses of the parliament. So that is one report. And also there are some criticism of this Lokpal. There are major criticisms on this Lokpal that also we should study. Okay, so one of the major criticism of this Lokpal is there is no suo motu. which means Lokpal cannot itself come and file a case against a public servant. Okay, only if any citizen is complaining of a public servant, then only Lokpal can take an action. They do not have the power of suo motu, which means they cannot confront and they cannot take up the complaint. If there is any reference, or if a citizen is making a complaint only, then they can take an action on the public servant. That is one important criticism of this Lokpal. And next, there is no transparency in this Lokpal. Okay, because this Lokpal bill came in 2013. Okay, in 2013 this bill has been enacted, but this Lokpal has not been formed. In 2019 March only this Lokpal body has been formed. So there is a delay of 5 years and there is no proper structure. Mainly with respect to Prime Minister, there is no transparency. How this process will take care of, what is structure, there is no transparency. There is also one criticism. And the next criticism is, if there is a false complaint, okay, if I am a citizen of India and I am going to Lokpal and I am making a complaint of a public servant that he is taken a corruption, and this Lokpal finds that public servant has not done anything wrong, then I have made a false complaint. So Lokpal will take action on me in a very severe punishment will be given for me. Okay, as a citizen of India, I will get a severe punishment for giving a false complaint. That is also one of the criticism, because when the punishment for false complaints are more, then citizens will not be encouraged to go and complain to Lokpal. Okay, they will have a reservation in mind. So that is also one criticism. There are major criticisms, but these are the major criticisms that I have talked about. Okay, mainly this Lokpal is very important with respect to your mains point of view. From the view of governance and ethics, this Lokpal and Lokayukta is very important. But prelims point of view, there are some restricted points which I am teaching here. But with respect to mains, you have to study a lot. Okay. So now we will talk about the Lokayukta. We all know Lokayukta is concerned of the state government, only for the state departments, state ministries and the state government officials. So Lokayukta, we all know it is for the state concerned. In 2013 Lokpal bill, one of the provision of the bill is, after the passing of the bill, from the 1 year, state should form the body called Lokayukta. So Maharashtra becomes the first state to enact the Lokayukta. That is one important fact here. So now about the appointment. We all know in Lokpal, appointment of chairperson and 8 members is done by the president. But in Lokayukta, it is done by the governor. And what is the composition of Lokayukta? One chairperson and how many members? That is not decided, because it is up to the states concerned. Okay, every state has enacted the Lokayukta bill and it differs with respect to each state. But with Lokpal, it is one chairperson and 8 members. But with Lokayukta, one chairperson and any members decided by the state government. So that is about the composition, but appointed by the governor. And what is the qualification? What is the qualification for this? Because in Lokpal, I will refer both Lokpal and Lokayukta because you will have a clear understanding. Okay. With respect to qualification or eligibility, in Lokpal, we had some certain eligibility. For example, I can say chairperson of Lokpal. He can be a ex-CJI or an ex-judge of Supreme Court or an eminent person who is having experience of 25 years in public service. Like that, some qualifications we had. For members also we had some qualifications, like 50% of members of Lokpal should be from judiciary and 50% should be from SC/ST and women community. Like that we had some qualifications and eligibility. But in Lokayukta there is no qualifications. It is up to the state governments, but most of the state has not prescribed any qualification or eligibility for chairperson and members. That is one thing. So appointment and qualification I have done. Tenure, it is mostly 5 years or 65 years of age. Again, this differs with respect to each state governments, but mostly this is the tenure, 5 years or until they attain the age of 65, whichever is earlier. But in Lokpal, 5 years or 70 years, it is the tenure of Lokpal. Next about the jurisdiction, which is very, very important. So the chief minister will come under the direct jurisdiction of Lokayukta, and all the ministers and MLAs, member of legislative assembly. So jurisdiction of Lokayukta, chief minister will come under the jurisdiction of Lokayukta, and ministers, MLAs and local governments like panchayat and municipalities, those members and chairperson will also come under the direct jurisdiction of this Lokayukta, and also the state government employees. We also have a group A, B, C, D of the state government. Okay, so those postings, officers under those cadre government employees will also come under the direct jurisdiction of this Lokayukta. Okay, Again, I am saying one point, this appointment, qualification, tenure, jurisdiction, everything will change with respect to each state. Okay. In generally, I am saying the conditions. This is the general thing, but it keeps changing for every state because every state is enacting their own respective Lokayukta bill. But this Lokpal bill is common for the whole of India. Okay. That is the difference. So that is about the Lokayukta. There is no much points to talk here because Lokayukta same like Lokpal only. Okay, or functions, everything same. But Lokpal is for central government and Lokayukta is for the state governments. So that is from this video of Lokpal and Lokayukta. We have started from the establishment. It was the recommendation was given by the first ARC in 1966 by Moraji Desai, and followed by that 8 times the bill has been passed in the parliament, but it got rejected. But finally in 2013 the Lokpal bill has been formed. So from 2013 they took 5 years to appoint this Lokpal. 2019 March only a body called Lokpal has been formed. The main thing from the prelims point of view, you should take care of the appointment, about the tenure, about the composition, about the jurisdiction. This is the important things for the prelims point of view. But again, I am stressing here, this Lokpal and Lokayukta is very important for your mains perspective. Please take care of that. With respect to governance and ethics, this topic is very important. But for prelims, just know about some basic things about the composition, jurisdiction, selection committee, who are there. In that point of view, UPSC can make a twist. So that is about the Lokpal and Lokayukta. So with that, I am closing this non-constitutional body videos. Thank you for watching.